4-13. Sorry.
Damn. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the PK Sportscast. I am your host, John, aka that PK boy. I've got Caleb Carell and Hard Knock Life here today. How you boys doing?
Going good,
Doing
man.
great.
How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing okay. You guys were texting me this weekend that I needed to be on some kind of watch, and you guys are, just I'm glad that I'm here today. We're just gonna go. We'll just go right into it, man. I got to bring up some of the comments I made last week about the Indianapolis Colts. Just wanted to say that they're going strong. 3 weeks in a row, they have made my life questionable. So Kansas City at Indianapolis. I'll go ahead and take this one first, boys. That was just bad. It was just all around bad. Good job to the Colts. They won. My too early prediction, I expected the Colts to win. But I even said on the show last week, after seeing them tie the Texans and lose to Jacksonville the way that they did, I just saw them. There was no way that they would beat us. And sure enough, it was a trap game. They got us. And I got to give them credit, man. They did. Of course, the Chiefs kind of beat themselves up there and kind of caused that loss on their own. But I want to just dive into a couple things about this game. I noticed that it was a game of firsts. It was Mahomes' first game in Indianapolis in his career. It was Matt Ryan's first win as a Colt. And there was this rookie, Jelani Woods, tight end out of Virginia. It was his first game with targets, at least. I'm not sure if he played in week 1 or 2, but his career stats are the stats from this game against Kansas City. This man had 2 receptions for 13 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. This man, his first reception in the NFL was a touchdown in the first quarter. Right after Sky Moore muffed the punt a minute and 20 seconds into the game. So it was a little 4-yard dump. I think it might have even been a 1-yard dump off technically because after they ran it a couple times. But Jelani Woods, first reception, touchdown. Not only that, second reception was also a touchdown. So have a day, rookie. That's awesome. Even though I'm really upset about the loss, I think it's awesome that a rookie came in and had 2 touchdowns on his first game, really. So that's sweet. What's not sweet and what is not a first is the Colts disappointing me once again because I did have them in my too early pick to win this game, and they did win, but I didn't get the dang point, man. Not got the point and everything, so I had my team lost, my parlays all got blown up, not got the point. It just, man, these Colts, man, I just hope that they, pick it up from here and become that number 1 seed in the AFC like I said that they would. But anyways, Knock, you guessed the point, or you got the point for that one. What did you think of the game?
I was disappointed. Oh, I was disappointed, bro. Like the way we lost that game, that really pissed me off. I watched the game. I'm watching it. We dominated that game. The quarterback for the Colts looked terrible. He looked terrible the entire first half. Matty Ice just couldn't get it together at any point. I thought that we were hands down dominating that game. And then we just started shooting ourselves in the foot. I mean, you mentioned the muffed punt. That leaves them right there in the red zone. I mean, that's a huge turning point in the game. That's almost like the interception pick 6 that we had last week against the Chargers. It was that big. And then Chris Jones, man. Get your big ass off the field after you get a sack, bruh. Get your big ass off the field, bruh. You go out there, you get your sack, you get your money. And then what are you doing out there yapping? Why? You don't need to do that. You getting paid. You get the Quan. Everyone knows that you're that dude. What are you out there? What do you have left to prove? That you're still a knucklehead? What are you doing, man? And this isn't the first time. This isn't Chris Jones' first time. Now, I will say, Chris Jones is my guy. You and I have had many debates, and back a couple of years ago, we were having debates. Do we keep Chris Jones or Tyreek? Because we saw it coming to a head, and I said we keep Chris Jones. Chris Jones is the most important player on our team that's not named Patrick Mahomes and wearing number 15. I believe in him. He's that dude. I think he's the best interior defensive lineman in the league. Hands down. Don't get it twisted. Chris Jones is that dude. He's got way more deposits that he's made for the Chiefs than he's got debits. But I'll tell you what, that debit last night, this week, that was big. That was big, and it contributed to the loss. And last but not least, the biggest shot that I have, Spags. Damn, Spags. Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs. Man, bro, 6-minute drive. Matty Ice can't do a damn thing all game. You give up a 6-minute drive culminating in a score and leaves us no time. You sit back and give up all this stuff underneath their entire drive. You just you call in the defense to allow them to slowly get first downs and run clock. Then when they get in the red zone and there's a minute left, we start throwing the kitchen sink at them and leaving single coverage and letting them an opportunity to take shots so that when they score, we got 13 damn seconds or something like that. Why do you not throw the kitchen sink at them early in the drive when there's 6, 5, 4 minutes left? Either we stop them or they score. But Patrick Mahomes, the guy who clearly has shown that he cannot be given the ball with a minute left, would have had time to bring us back into field goal range. I don't understand the play calling. I think that the players were not put in a position to win as well as they should have and as well as they have been in the past. I feel like some of the players got lackadaisical, and I'm pissed that we lost to this version of the Colts. I expected that the Colts would win in the too early prediction, but it was supposed to be a different version of the Colts. I'm pissed that we lost to this version of the Colts. And I expect that we turn it around. We play a hell of a lot better when we have to travel to Tampa Bay. Caleb, sorry about my rant, man. What you got over there, bro?
Well, I tell you what, if this version of the Chiefs comes out, then against Tampa Bay, I'm not even sure I'm going to want to watch that game. You said the Chiefs dominated this game. I don't think you can even remotely put the Chiefs and dominant in the same sentence after this past week, man. It was just ugly. It was ugly from the get-go. I mean, I know it was a 20-17 loss, but as you said, we were not supposed to lose to this version of the Colts. I mean, we're talking about a team that couldn't even put up a field goal against Jacksonville, couldn't even beat Houston. It's bad. It's bad. As you said, Sky Moore, special teams was just, I don't even, did they even get out of bed? Then, Sky Moore muffed a punt inside the Chiefs 10, that puts them on they got the ball at their own 4. Excuse me. No, on the 4. After that, the game was cooked. I'm sitting here looking, I'm like, okay, when are they going to wake up? When are they going to wake up? And then halftime rolls around. You guys remember the last time something happened between Mahomes and EB?
It was what we saw.
It was a pretty big game we blew against Cincinnati, wasn't it? I'm just saying, there's something I don't really want to admit that's going on. It doesn't seem right. Whenever Andy Reid, you see him coming at halftime trying to separate Mahomes from going at EB, there's just an issue. And Amendola, I don't know what else. The Chiefs didn't even trust Amendola to take a field goal. And then he misses a 34-yarder that would have given KC a 2-possession lead. I mean, just everything that could have went wrong for the Chiefs just went wrong. Mahomes was visibly frustrated on the sideline. It feels like every time that the cameras cut away to Mahomes, he just looked pissed. And in very pressure situations, he's been very good at times. Most times, I might add. And just to see him as irritated as he was throughout that entire game, he knew they were not supposed to lose to this Colts team. I don't care if the win was by one. He knew they should not have lost that game. I don't know. I don't know where. There's got to be a lot of things addressed, because the Chiefs did not look like the Chiefs this week, and it hurts. We cannot put together that kind of performance against Tampa if we're not wanting to get blown out by 30. I'll go in on Tampa a little bit later, but as it looks, Kansas City's got some fine tuning to do, and I hope we do not see that version of the Chiefs again this season.
Yeah, man, it was all bad. I mean, special teams really did make or break a close game like that. Because I mean, you really look at like the day that Mahomes and Ryan had, and they weren't like too far. I think obviously Ryan had a bit of a better day. Obviously, he had a win. He went 27 for 37, 222, two touchdowns, no picks, but he was sacked 5 times. Mahomes 20 for 35, 262 yards, a tutty, and a pick at the very end of the game. Only sacked 1 time. I think without that pick at the end, they have a really similar day. Here's the big difference that I saw. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 7 carries, 0 yards, 1 touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 21 carries, 71 yards, 20 receiving yards. So I think their run game was able to, and that might have kind of, like to Knox's point, that might have come in that last 6-minute drive. That's where their run game really looked very strong. Their short pass game was strong. And they just drove up the field, and there was nothing it seemed like we could do about it. They looked like the Colts, like in that last drive looked like the Colts that we thought they were going to be. And I don't know. Watching this game, I really couldn't tell if Indianapolis had come back and looked like the team they were supposed to be, or if the Chiefs just looked like the Chiefs from the AFC Championship last year, where we come out looking. I guess we didn't even come out as strong as that with the muffed punt at the beginning. But I thought after the Sky Moore muffed punt in the first minute, I figured we bounced back from that, and it looked like we were going to do so. So I'm really disappointed in that. But anyways, on to another game that might have been surprising to a lot of us. Nobody got a point for this. Buffalo, Miami, arguably the biggest game of the weekend. Knock, I won't let you get started on this one, man. What did you think of the Bills-Dolphins game?
Man, what a hell of a game, right? That game was so much fun to watch. I remember we talked about it last week. I said I thought the Bills would win, but it's going to be a lot closer than people think. It could come down to the wire. And the fact of the matter is it did come down to the wire. It just so happened that Dolphins were able to pull the game out. And it was super interesting because it at the end of the game, I don't know if you saw, Josh Allen literally put his head onto his shoulder. Like he looked defeated. He didn't look fired up. He didn't look angry. He looked defeated, resigned. I'm surprised that's not a meme that's just going around everywhere like the Jordan cry face. Really, seriously. It was crazy, and I think it was less about Buffalo and more about Miami. And the reason why is because Josh Allen threw for 400 yards. Josh Allen also led his team in rushing. They've got to figure that part out. But Tua only had 186 yards this week compared to last week, where he had 6 touchdowns or something crazy, right? The Dolphins still found a way to win. They're just now got Tyreek there, and they're already gelling. They already are winning tough games. And that team looks formidable. I mean, after the way they beat Baltimore and now they beat Buffalo, these are top teams in the AFC. We all have those teams in the playoffs. They're doing it with defense. They're doing it with special teams. They're playing as a team. That game was a lot of fun to watch. And until the Buffalo figures out how to run the ball, they're not going to be able to seal games. They're not going to be able to seal wins like the Colts were able to do. to your point that you made earlier, how they ran the ball on Kansas City in that last drive to run clock and get down and ultimately score. They were able to pick up first downs. Unless the Buffalo Bills are able to do that, they're not going to be able to beat playoff caliber teams. They're going to be the team that looks great during the regular season and not win in the playoffs. They're just a glorified Chargers at that point. So they're not built for the playoffs right now until they get that running game set up. That's really what I took for that game. Caleb, you see, what'd you see over there?
I don't know that I have to disagree with you in a way because I don't know. I think Buffalo still is the favorite to win everything. I just think, people are, I don't want to say sleeping on this Miami team, but who expected them to be this good? You know, we all, we had them making the playoffs, but we didn't see them being a top 3, 4 team in the NFL. I mean, this is incredible. Um, to your point, these two quarterbacks had very different days. Josh Allen had 400 through the air. Tua only had 186, 13 of 18, but he still got the job done. And might I want to add, Tyreek only had 33 yards. Waddle was out there doing the thing. He had 102. He only had 4 receptions, 102 yards. This offense is crazy. They're already looking like a team that is poised. I don't know if Tyreek just came there and said, "Hey, I'm going to take you there." But as of right now, that's what it sure looks like. They're finding ways to close out these close games. That big comeback against Baltimore, and they're able, albeit 2 points, they're able to close out a close game against the Super Bowl favorite in Buffalo. Like, this team is scary. I don't know what to make of them. I mean, obviously something. I mean, Tua last week, he has 6 touchdowns, throws for hundreds of yards. I mean, I don't know what to make of them. They seem to gel really well. Um, and Josh Allen obviously respects him. He's putting his head down. He meets Tua in the field and after the game, and I don't know. I'm shocked. I I really don't know, John. What are you seeing with this? Because I'm dumbfounded. Honestly, Miami looks really good.
I do think that they look pretty good. I would say, I'm going to sound like devil's advocate here. I think Miami's really good. They've beaten two really good teams, three if you count the Patriots, but not looking like that, right? I've got Miami at 11-6 as my 6 seed team, and I think that's about where they're going to land. I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't. I think maybe they could slide into that fifth spot, but I think they'll go about 11-6, maybe 12-5. I mean, it's very early in the season. Teams are still figuring it out. I mean, last year, the 3-0 teams at this point in the season was Arizona, Carolina, and Denver. So, and two of the teams I just mentioned ended up under 500 last year. So I'm not really too worried about it. I think that they do look like way better than a Denver or a Carolina, but um, you know, I just don't know if they're going to be able to get it done whenever everybody starts to kind of figure out their scheme and starts to tighten up all of their what would you say, blind spots, because the league does adjust and it's week 3, and I think maybe up to this point no one really took Miami too seriously. Um, and they have a couple things to clean up too. I think that they're definitely on track. They're a really fun team to watch. I would love to see them make a playoff run, as long as it's not through Kansas City. Uh, um, you know, a couple things I thought were interesting about this game was, um, one, we'll just talk about, no, since neither of you guys said it, the butt punt was hilarious. Not much to say there. I just thought it was funny. Um, that was great. We now have the butt fumble and the butt punt, so that was great. I think the other thing was, Tua went out in the first half, and I didn't see this until after the game, but did you guys see how this man stumbled after he got rocked in that first half, when he like stood up and jogged and then just like fell right back down, and like
Yes.
leaned all on his teammate. It looked pretty bad. So he ends up coming back though in the second half, and they say the NFL Players Association is now investigating the incident, saying that he shouldn't have come back from concussion protocol, things like that. Obviously, I think for fans, selfishly, it was great, but um, you know that who knows, that could have really been bad for Tua. Like, luckily nothing bad happened, it didn't seem like, but I mean, CTE is real, man. Like, I don't know if he should
Yes.
have came back. um, so we'll see what ends up coming of that, but I mean, Miami might get in their own way with all this talent. I mean, they've already lost draft picks for trying to go after Tom Brady when they weren't supposed to. I'm sure that there's plenty other things that we haven't found out about in malpractice. So we'll find out. But I think that was an amazing game, and I think they're going to have a great season. Kind of piggybacking off of Knock, I think Tyreek has definitely taken um, it's gone from being hopeful to like they believe in Miami right now, and you can just tell in the way that they play and their attitude. Tyreek only had 33 yards this week, and they still balled out. I mean, the guy still is at least demanding attention, which is freeing up someone like Waddle to have the best season he's had so far already. So, um, good things coming out of Miami. Uh, where the bad things are coming though is from places that we thought the things were coming. Green Bay, Tampa Bay.
Oh my
We talked
God.
about this last week,
Oh my God.
and what a game! It was it was a little underwhelming. Caleb, what did you think?
I mean, you said it best. Both of these teams, they're 2-1. I think that's just because of the veteran presence and quarterback that both of those teams possess. But it was a very, very, very underwhelming. I really can't think of another word to come up with it. Uh, you know, uh, Final score 14-12. I think I had both. I think I had Tampa winning, scoring 30. It's ugly. Tampa's really struggling to put some points on the board. I don't know if we say this every year. Father Time's finally catching up with Tom Brady. I doubt it. We saw towards the end of that game that Tom Brady is still very much capable of potentially doing the game-winning drive. It came down to a two-point conversion that unfortunately for them, we'll say that, not for me. I loved it. Unfortunately for them, wasn't converted. I still think we're still gonna see good things come out of both of these teams. I believe. I don't think that Green Bay will miss the playoffs. Knock, I'm looking at you. Uh, but I do think the fine tuning needs to be there as well. Some of these big teams that you expect more out of, they're struggling. Green Bay's struggling. Put points on the board. Kansas City struggled to put points on the board. Tampa has struggled to put points on the board through 3 games this season. I think we'll see. I think we'll see greatness out of Tom Brady as the season goes on. But man, they got to figure something out because only for Tom Brady, they both had 250 plus yards. I think Tom Brady got a good chunk of that during that last drive. I mean, without that last drive, Tom Brady looks like just he looks old. Without that last drive, would have looked old. You look at the stat sheet and you're just going, he had 271 yards. That's not bad at all. But a good 80 of those came at the last drive. I don't know about Tom Brady. Maybe he is getting old. I saw a video circulating somewhere saying he was telling somebody on the sideline, I don't know that I have the same arm that I had. Of course, take that with a grain of salt. You never know if he's just, shooting the what, but kind of makes you wonder. But I'm done betting against Tom Brady. Every time I'm like, he looks old. He comes back and wins a Super Bowl. So you know what? I'm done doing that. Knock. What did you see on that?
Man, I mean, to paraphrase this game, I mean, it was a dud. It was a dud. It's like I felt like these two guys, this iconic battle between Aaron Rodgers, one of the most talented quarterbacks in our era, going against the winningest quarterback the game's ever seen. A guy who can sling that rock in Aaron Rodgers, that, as Stephen A says, that bad man. And then you've got Brady, who is the quintessential execution artist. He executes day in and day out. He doesn't have to be flashy, right? and they're going against each other. We finally see this matchup. They're not injured. They both are playing, and I could hardly keep my damn eyes open, y'all. I could hardly keep my eyes open. I'm watching the game. I'm like, oh my God, I'm falling asleep. I kept getting up and walking around and getting a drink and doing stuff, trying to say, wait, that game was such a bore. I mean, they couldn't neither team could run the ball. Neither team really passed the ball that well. I mean, Tampa Bay only ran the ball 14 times, and one of them was Tom Brady trying to scramble for his life, right? They had 34 rushing yards. 34 rushing yards in a football game. And the Packers had 67. Both the quarterbacks tried to do too much. They threw the ball a ton and didn't go anywhere. It was just underwhelming, like Caleb said. So I was disappointed in the game. I was really hoping to see some fireworks, but it is what it is. I'm not convinced that either team is just that great. I'm also not convinced that either team is destined to be in the bottom of the NFC either. So I think the verdict's still out. We'll see what happens, but we're definitely going to have to see some more consistency out of those guys.
Definitely. I will say, shout out to Marengo. I know he's not on the show this week, but he is the only one out of all of us that called Green Bay winning this game. So kudos to him for seeing that one coming. But I think, he had it 28-24, so even he saw it to be, exactly twice the score of what it actually was. Like no one expected 14-12.
Well, with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, I'm sorry, with Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, you would think we would see more than 26 combined points.
Well, especially with how lackluster Green Bay's defense has looked this season, you think I know Tampa Bay's had some offensive struggles this year, and defense has been keeping them in games. This could have been one of those, right? But their offense just can't get it going. And Tom Brady's self-aware; he knows that he's not doing that well either. But I don't know what's going on, man. Something tells me. I think he's one of the masked singers, bro. I think he's busy right now. Like he's not focused. So something's going on with Tom. So I think he's under one of those masks. He's got to be. But sorry, I had to put in the dancing joke or the singing joke. But I'll tell you what. The one thing I thought was very interesting was, did you guys see the post game interview with Aaron Rodgers, where he was talking about the game, and the reporter asked him a question, and he just says, "Well, they showed it was on the very last play, that 2-point conversion." And he says, they put something on that Jumbotron that they probably shouldn't have. And I just let the defense know. That's all he said. So we don't know what happened, but I know one thing is for sure. Somebody got fired because the game was in Tampa, and something tells me they had to show the OC calling the play or something, because he snitched, boy, did he tell. And he told the post-game interview and everything. He didn't even care about that poor man's job. I don't know how much the Jumbotron guy makes, but hopefully he can get a job somewhere else, not in Kansas City. But, man, that's tough. That's tough. I'm sorry, man. Like, I will say, I gotta check out his Aaron Rodgers personal interview with Pat McAfee or something, man, because that dude, Aaron, he always has some funny takes, man, and the fact that he snitched on the Jumbotron guy was just hilarious to me. I don't know. So just a quick recap of some of these other games and how the scores went this week. So as you can see from our season totals, Knock is still in the lead, 15.5 points. I'm catching up, though. I came back a little bit this week. I'm at 12. I had the best week. I had 6. You got Mango. He's at 8.5. And Caleb is coming in with 5 points. But there's a lot of season left. Don't worry. So anyways, like I said before, Knock did get the point for the Indianapolis game. Good job there. Nobody here got any points for Pittsburgh losing to Cleveland, because as everyone here knows, and let me know in the comments when our 2 early predictions came out last month, that We only had Cleveland win in 2 games, so they're on par with me. If they don't lose out, I'm wrong. So that's great. And they don't even have Deshaun back yet, so that's fun. So then I took the point for Carolina. You know, my boy Baker finally didn't disappoint me this week, and he was able to beat the Saints. We got everyone here chose the Bears. I got the point for that one being closer. The score was 20-23. I'd guess 27-17. As you guys know, we all picked the Bills, and the Dolphins came back. We all went with the Vikings, who did beat the Detroit Lions. I took the point there. Unfortunately, the Patriots disappointed me once again, and the Ravens won that one. Knock got himself another point. And Knock followed up by getting the point right after that as well with the Cincinnati game. Tennessee beating up on the Raiders, always good to see. Marengo took the point there. I took the point for Philly over Washington. Was only off by 2. I said 24-10. It was 24-8. And then we'll make some more time to talk about this, guys. Don't worry. But we all were wrong about the Chargers this week by a long shot.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
Marengo comes through again. He takes the win with the Rams Cardinals game. Atlanta takes out the Seahawks, as we all knew would happen. Just wanted to mention that this is one of the games that Caleb said the Seahawks would win because he's got them going about 500. Marengo only wanted to win the Tampa Green Bay game. 49ers Broncos. I don't know how the hell I did, but I got the point for that cluster of a game. We don't have a ton of time to talk about that game today, but I will say, Orlovsky, you're free, my guy. It's now the Jimmy G, not the Orlovsky when you step out of the back of the end zone on your drop back.
Oh.
The Jimmy G. And then, of course, Caleb, he kept himself from having a goose egg this week, and he took the Monday night game. We were all worried about it. He won. He took the point for Dallas over the Giants. So good job, Caleb. You got yourself a point this week. Nobody's going home with nothing. So with all that said, guys, obviously we were all wrong in many instances this week, probably more than most other weeks. What was the most surprising moment? Caleb, you look so disappointed, man. What was the most I'm gonna let you just sit on. I'm gonna let you sit on that one, bud. Knock. What was your most surprising instance this week?
Well, I can sum it up in 4 words. How about them Cowboys?
Oh shoot!
Yeah. How about them Cowboys, baby? You guys want to count them out? You want to give me hell because I tell you that this is the year that they actually do something and make the playoffs and go on a little run, and you want to discount me. And those guys go out there and they win another week. They keep being discounted. Cooper Rush goes out there and has a 98 quarterback rating and shows up and does enough to get them a win against a Giants team that had not lost yet this year. Okay? I was very impressed with how the two-headed dragon, the running backs, and Pollard, who really stepped up, and dare I say Zeke Elliott this week, did his thing too. And they went out there and they dominated the ball on the ground. The offensive line showed up when everyone thinks they're banged up and all their best players are gone. They still came out there, and in the trenches, they moved the Giants off the ball and were able to pick up first downs. I don't want to hear anyone talk mess about CeeDee Lamb. I know he dropped a pass for a big game, but the boy still showed out. He had 8 catches, over 80 yards, averaging over 10 yards per clip. I mean, these Cowboys are the real deal. I thought they'd be 1-2 by now, and they're already up 2-1 based upon my projections. They're supposed to be 1-2. They're already 2-1. So they might even have a higher seed in the playoffs than I predicted. Okay? So stay off my back. You want to say the biggest surprises? How about them Cowboys?
You're unbelievable. I
Say
almost
something.
think you're a Cowboys fan. I where's this coming from? You have a Cowboys jersey on underneath your Chiefs one every Sunday? Because that's honestly what it sounds like to me. What you got going on over there, Nog?
Man, I recognize greatness, man. Look, I see that they are built to win. Okay, I see they're built to win. I predicted it before the season. Not unlike I predicted the Lions would be much better. Not unlike I predicted the decline of the Bengals. Not unlike I predicted a lot of the things that are seemingly coming true, as well as how horrible those Raiders are. But we'll talk about that later. The Cowboys are built to win, and they're even overachieving when they're dealing with Dak being gone. When Dak gets back, don't let Dak come back and be 80, 90%, y'all. Don't let him come back and be 80, 90%, y'all. Okay? Because you're gonna look like fools when he comes back 89, 80, 90%, and they start really putting them hands on y'all. When they get Gallup back and they start really putting hands on y'all, you're gonna be upset about that.
Caleb, you got anything else you want to say on this before I
Man,
jump in?
about the Cowboys, no, I hope Dak does. I hope he comes back, and I hope he's able to lead this team. I just knock. What are you on, Skip Bayless? Come on, man. What? You, no, John, take it, man. I can't with him.
I'll say this. I'll say this. While things might have went a little far in that tangent, uh, I gotta give it to him, man. I mean, Dallas has come out here, and the only game that they've lost this season, they had their quarterback. I mean, you got to say that the team is well rounded if they're going to come out there and beat Cincinnati, who I know has not looked great this season, but a lot of the reason people are saying that is because Dallas beat them.
Yep.
And then they came out this week and they beat the Giants are undefeated against a Tennessee that I told y'all wasn't real, and against the Panthers. So, take it with a grain of salt. But they're out here, they're undefeated 2 weeks into having a backup quarterback in. And I don't know if I'll go as far as Skip Bayless and say that Cooper Rush is going for Dak's job, but I will tell you that I bet you if Dak does not play well coming back from his injury, I think Cooper Rush keeps Dallas from drafting a quarterback for a year or two to replace him. I mean, like, because everyone, like, what were they all saying after week one? They're all saying, hey, should the Cowboys go get Jimmy G? They should go get Jimmy G. They better go get Jimmy G. And it's like, dude, they got a Cooper Rush. Why do they need a dude who runs backwards out the back of the end zone? And closes their eyes and turns their body when they're about to get tackled. This dude, Cooper Rush, goes out there. He looks at the face of the defense and he says, you know who I'm going to. Did you know that last week he targeted CeeDee Lamb 11 times? Guess who we went right back to this week? Everyone knew where it was going. Schultz is out. Mamari's gone. It's going to CD, and it still was going to CD, and they couldn't do anything about it. So I will say Dallas is looking damn good. Defense looks damn good. Micah Parsons is going to be the Von Miller of his draft class. Yeah, I think they look damn good. I don't know if they can do much better than what you projected them at. I think you had them 12-5, if I'm not mistaken. I could see them definitely coming in 12-5, but what's crazy is I could definitely see them losing the first game or two that Dak comes back, because they look better right now than they did week one against Tampa that really has only looked good against Dallas. Like, it's kind of crazy. We'll have to see, man. But I will say I'm very impressed with Dallas so far. They're right on line with what I've been saying they're going to do this season with their quarterback. So that's always good whenever you see your quarterback go out week one and you don't lose. And Caleb, I gave you a little time to think about what your surprising moment was. What is it for you, man?
You had to give me time to think for this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh, man.
Vegas, we got a problem. Y'all should have stayed in Oakland. What do y'all have going on over there in Nevada? What is Vegas too much for y'all? Are y'all staying up too late? What's going on? Y'all have lost 3 straight games to start the season. All that talk Raiders fans were giving me. Oh no, we're taking the AFC West. Forget Denver, the Chargers. They not. What are y'all now? Y'all are the only 0-3 team in the National Football League. And you have the nerve to talk all that before the season started. You are the only 0-3 team in the league. I bet Devontae Adams wishes he would have stayed in Green Bay. At least they're 2-1. At least they know what winning a game this year feels like. What do y'all have going on there? You can't do anything. You can't close out close games. Derek Carr looks like I don't even know. He looks like a Derek Bike. I'll say that. Forget a car. He doesn't even deserve to have that last name. Derek Bike. All right, do you hear me?
That's
You
so
guys
funny.
got to figure something out.
Sonny
If you want to
Dykes.
even make it look competitive in the division, get it together. You guys couldn't even beat you guys couldn't even beat Arizona in an overtime game where you had it. The Chiefs pummeled them. The Chiefs made Arizona look like a high school team, and you guys can't even win there. You've got a problem. You have a problem, and you might want to fix it sooner or later, unless you want to go down as an 0-17 team. Sorry about that. Y'all go ahead. What y'all thinking about that? Was that a little too rough? I don't
Nah,
care.
go ahead and take it, man.
No, look, I
I
mean,
don't care.
Oakland is Oakland. This is Oakland. They're a bad organization. And it just trickles down. It is what it is. I mean, you're not going to change your whole coaching staff and think that things are just going to come out of the gate hunky dory. Now, of course, they could be better than 0-3. But I mean, look, you got Derek Carr. You know Derek Carr, you know what he is. I mean, Derek Carr is the Kirk Cousins that everyone likes. Okay? That's Derek Carr. That's what he's going to give you. Okay. Now, is he better than the lower end quarterback in the league? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's
Yeah.
not dog water. He's a solid quarterback, and you can win with him. But you have to have a running team and an amazing defense because Derek Carr's not going to go out there and just win you games. He has done that once or twice in the past. He has those moments of magic, but he is by and far a game manager, and his best years came when he had an amazing run game with Jacobs, doing a big part of getting yards on first down and leaving him a second and short and being able to go out there and play anything in the playbook. So Derek Carr is what we know he is. He's not going to win you games. Devontae Adams, I agree with you. He's really wondering if chasing the bag was the right idea because he's not having the results that Tyreek is having from chasing the bag. At least Tyreek and them, they're winning and they're feeling good, and he's getting the quan. He's in South Beach, right? He's doing his thing. Devontae, yeah, he's in Vegas, but to your point, it's not the same, and they're not getting the results on the field. And he's a winner. He likes to win. He's about winning above all else. So I know that's getting to him. I fully expect that the Raiders are going to continue their decline and continue to lose more games. Um, as long as they don't do like the Colts and then find a way to beat us right on a good week. That's what I'm mostly concerned about because they are a division rival. But I'm glad that they are staying relatively injury free. I don't wish them to lose in a bad way, but I really just don't have any faith in that organization. So yeah, the Raiders, boo, boo. I think I had them winning
Well,
4 games this week or this year.
and all jokes aside, no, I know I might go in on the Raiders. Let me say, I do not wish injury upon anybody. Can we? Let's just go ahead and put that there now. But you have to, all jokes aside, you have to think the morale of the team is just it's down. You know, I don't think any of us thought the Raiders were going to start 0-3. You know, the AFC West was looking like the division in the National Football League prior to the beginning of the season, and now they're looking at a situation where they're 0-3. I mean, you know, that's a hell of a
Man,
hole to dig
let
yourself
me
out of.
tell you about the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are like everything else in Vegas. Fake. Sounds too good to be true because it is. All right? You're right. Tyreek signed a big contract and got paid, and he's getting wins in a place that's tropical, green, and full of life. Devontae, he worked a deal with the devil. This man is paid, but he is sitting there winless in a desolate desert with nothing there, no real plants, nothing. Everything they got to make that shit there. They got to everything there fake. This man, I don't wish anything bad upon him. I like Devontae Adams, bro, but you chose the wrong side, man. Like you took the blue pill. You should have went red, dude. Like I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's really messed up. I will say the Derek bike was funny as hell, but that's funny as hell. But I will say I'm not going to sit here and keep putting this on Derek Carr, man. Derek, you know what? I liked the Kirk Cousins joke too, man. Honestly, y'all killed that dude. I like.
I killed him and Kirk in the same one. That's jacked up. They
Yeah,
both hate
because
my ass.
because you know how I feel about Kirk too. I like when you clown Kirk, but man, I will say I mess with Derek Carr like he's, Derek Carr and Bo Jackson. I've been saying this a long time. Derek Carr, Bo Jackson, only Raiders I ever liked, right? You know, the dude is decent. Like the guy can put up yards and stuff. I feel like he's maybe more of a Stafford on a Lions than he is a Kirk Cousins, right? I think. Hey, listen, Stafford ain't done shit this year either, so don't look at me like that. Derek Carr puts up yards and he can play. I don't think he's a great. I don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But he damn for sure ain't David Carr, and he ain't Derek Bike, all right? I will. There is one thing that he is for sure, and that's fucking winless, man. And that is where it's like, man, I said I defended the point so hard. As much as it's hard for me to ever defend the Raiders, I defended it at the beginning of the season when we did our 2 early picks. I looked at these two. I looked at these two specifically. I said, "Oh hell, y'all both got the Raiders 4-13. Like that's bad. Like that's bad." I don't think that they can add Devontae Adams and get that bad. Well, guys, they look pretty bad. They're winning some, or they're losing some really close games though. I have the Raiders at 1-2 at this point in the season, so they're only 1 win back. They should have won against Arizona too, because I had them win in Arizona. You know, they should be doing a lot better than they are right now. But I don't think that them being 1 game off my prediction is going to be too bad. I think that they could still. I had them having a really good end of the season. I could still see them being 9-8 or 10-7. But,
Sure.
but man, they look. I think we're all just kind of flabbergasted at how terrible they look right now. But who knows? We'll see what they can do. If they can win those close games like they gave up to Arizona, then they have a chance. But if they can't stop someone from running around for 88 yards and still converting, like they're screwed. I don't care how good Devontae can catch garbage time touchdowns; it doesn't make a difference. So hey, he got the bag though.
Got the
So
bag.
he got the bag though. And Derek Bike is from now on going to be the joke for me because that is funny as hell. I'm still over here like that. Is that an original? Because I've never heard that one.
No, that one just came. It just came to me, man. That's all that was.
Sometimes things just click. No,
That's
all
right.
Man, I'll tell you what I thought was the biggest surprise this week. Like, you know, little backstory. I gave the Colts a lot of crap for not putting up a field goal on Jacksonville and not beating the Texans. But based on what happened this last week, I got to really look in the mirror. Like the Colts ended up beating the Chiefs, and Jacksonville beat the holy crap out of the Chargers. So is Jacksonville were the Colts bad, or is Jacksonville actually kind of good? Because they 38-10. I didn't watch that game. I was just kind of like pulling up scores, and when I saw them start to take it away, I was thinking in my head like, did Herbert not start? Because he looked a little beat up at the end of the Chiefs game. Maybe he didn't start. Then I saw he did. He played through injury. He looked a little hurt, but like he threw that touchdown to Mike Williams and didn't do anything after that. Man, they looked bad. They looked bad. The Chargers, you guys, man. You guys got to get together. Everyone gave me a bunch of crap at the beginning of the season. I said the Chargers are going to be the worst team in the AFC West and that they were going to be 9-8. And everybody, like even Caleb's face still right now, even was like, "Ooh, that's hard to hear." But dude, like they just don't look like they can get it done. They're going to be the same Chargers that we've been looking at for the last 20 years. They will be the best losing team in the league. They will go 9-8, and all 8 losses will be by a touchdown or less. But at the end of the day, if they're counted as losses, you don't go to the playoffs, and that's what I think that they are. I think that they are regular season gods. But 1-2, I even had them 2-1 at this point and going 9-8. So if they don't pull it together, I know a lot of it is they're injury riddled right now. But if they don't get it together, man, they're going to have a really tough time. I don't know though, man. Knock, what do you think about the Chargers and Jacksonville game this week?
Look, man, I couldn't agree with you more. The Chargers, you're right. You're absolutely right. The Chargers are just that team that always is expected to do well in the regular season, and they do generally do well and have a winning record. But to your point, they're not a winning franchise. They haven't been able to get it together in the playoffs. And like I said earlier, they're not built to win in the playoffs. They're not. They're not built to win in the playoffs. And I said it again last week. I said, who's going to win the AFC South? Jacksonville? Right? Who's going to win that? Who's going to win that division? Jacksonville. And I think what happened is, and you heard it here first, boys, the Jacksonville Jaguars are for real. The Jacksonville Jaguars are for real. Okay? The Jacksonville Jaguars are for real. They run the ball. They pound the ball down your throat, and they stop the run. And I know that's boring football in this day and age where everyone wants to high fly into action. But when you can run the ball and you can stop the run, you can dictate field position and you can dictate the clock and you handle the turnover differential, you're a hard team to beat. You're just not going to lose many games like that. I'm looking at it. Trevor Lawrence had an amazing game. He had 115 quarterback rating. I didn't even realize that. He had 115 quarterback rating, and these guys ran the ball for 151 yards on 36 carries. They're averaging 4.2 at a clip. Robinson had 100 yards. Etienne came in and did his thing. They spread the ball around. Zay Jones had 10 receptions, but they still had 7 different receivers. So they're doing an excellent job of being balanced and playing real quality playoff style football. And I believe Jacksonville's for real because of the division that they're playing in.
You know, it's hard for me to pronounce his name, Etienne, right? I think we're just going to start calling. I think we're just going to start calling him Eaton because that's what he was doing this week. They was eating on them dudes, man. That was just 38. All right, I'm sorry, Caleb. What do you think, man?
Well, listen, as much as I want to dog on a division rival, I can't really dog on them a whole lot. They look beat up. I mean, injuries are taking effect to them early on this season. I mean, I'm just looking at, Keenan Allen, J.C. Jackson, there's, and then
Bosa.
Herbert, Bosa. And so, they look banged up. I'm not gonna clown on them too much now. That just doesn't seem fair. They don't look like they're at full strength. I will say I think they would have made this a little bit closer of a game than 38-10. But they haven't been healthy. So at this point in time, I think this is a good tap. I'm not going to take anything away from Jacksonville, but at this point, I can't really say anything negative about the Chargers. We haven't seen them really at full strength yet. So we'll kind of see as the season goes on. As you said, a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter. So injuries hurt. Injuries are a part of the sport. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But I before I put anything out there, I would like to see them healthy for at least a couple weeks before we really dictate how their season's going to go.
Right. Hey, man, availability is the best ability. And, as much as it sucks to see people hurt, because I like to see, as fans of the sport, we all like to see teams at full strength when they face off, for sure. But, regardless, they're not going to make the playoffs, and I'm telling y'all that. I'm the only one on this show who said it, and I'm going to be the only one that's right.
Wow. All right.
They boo-boo. I don't know if y'all can see my notes. I had my notes. Oh, man, the green screen doesn't let me show it. My notes for today's show was Chargers boo-boo as fuck. That's what I had because that's what they look like.
Damn.
That is for real. I should post my notes on Instagram. That is I don't ever put that on any of my notes, but for this whole segment,
save that for the Raiders.
You know what's funny is usually my notes have like a little bit of something jotted there to jog my memory. It's really funny because the last 2 segments for the Chargers, I had Chargers boo boo as fuck, and then for yours, you went as soon as you said Raiders. The only note that I wrote was "Ha Raiders." That's what I put. So, so those are my notes for this. But we are going a little over on time with our moments here, but they're a bit enjoyable. You got to love the good old AFC West, best division in football. But speaking of another team in the AFC West, the one that's actually good, Kansas City plays against Tampa Bay this week. Um, lot to look forward to. Another, arguably big like the biggest quarterback matchups of the year, right? You had Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady last week. Now you got Mahomes, Tom Brady this week. Mahomes down 2-3 in his record with Brady, looking to tie it up. Caleb, what are your thoughts, man? What's going to happen this week?
Well, I think, kind of taking it away from football. I think both of these teams are they're kind of thinking about what they're gonna do because this game might not be played in Tampa due to the hurricane that's coming up.
Right.
I don't know. I think I read somewhere. I don't remember the validity of it, but I think I read somewhere that they would play in Minnesota. I don't know why Minnesota would be the venue, but outside of that, because I just think there's a lot of distractions going with that. I don't think their heads are really going to be in the right spot. I mean, whose would be? They don't even know where they're going to travel to play the game if it can't be played in Tampa. So I just think there's a lot going on there with both teams. I really need Kansas City to. I need them to get this together because Tampa does not look good right now. They cannot put points on the board. I need Kansas City to come out. I need them to run the ball. I need them to be. I need them I need them to have faith in what they do again. I need everybody to be on the same page because it looked nasty last week against Indianapolis. I mean, it was just everybody was out of sync. Nobody was on the right page. I need Mahomes to have that confidence. I know from time again, he has praised Brady for being the greatest quarterback of all time. Rightfully so. I understand that. I need Mahomes to be laser focused. I need everybody to be on the same page. I need defense to step up because if we look anywhere like we did against Indianapolis, we're going to get ran through. That's just how it is, and I'm scared to say that because I hate Tom Brady. I hate wherever he goes. I can't stand it. I can't stand it when we lose against Tom Brady. It drives me up a wall. But I'm serious. I need everybody to be in sync because this can get real ugly real quick, and it may not because Tampa's looked real ugly too. They've looked horrid on offensive or on the offensive side of the ball at least. Putting up points, they just haven't been able to do it so far this year. So I need the Chiefs to come in and wreak havoc. What are you guys thinking about it?
Look, I'm fired up about this week. I think the Chiefs are, I know in the too early prediction, I predicted that Tampa was going to take this in a one.
But
I
that
think
was
I,
that version of Tampa. This is this version of Tampa.
well, yeah, I mean, look, well, last week, Kansas City didn't look good, and neither did Tampa. Both teams, neither team put up very many points. Then neither team seemed like they were really clicking. But Kansas City had all of their guys on offense. Tampa was missing Mike Evans. That's their best and biggest offensive threat. So, they're going to have him back this week. They're going to be at home this week hosting an AFC team. This doesn't affect our seeding. It's hard for the Chiefs to come down there and get up for this game when they're missing Willie Gay and going up against Leonard Fournette, and it doesn't affect seeding. So that's why I have them losing on the too early prediction. I look at that as a trap game because it's a out of conference away game, right? But this is the thing. Now that I've seen what's going on this week, first of all, Andy Reid doesn't lose 2 games in a row. We don't lose 2 games in a row. That's what we don't do it. And half the reason we lost the game last week is we're probably already looking ahead to Tampa. So that was our mistake. But I fully expect Kansas City going to come out there and reestablish the run. We've been running the ball well this year. I expect that we're going to continue to do it. I expect we're going to go out there and stop the run in Tampa, which can be done. We just saw the Packers shut it down last week. They didn't get a damn thing on the ground last week against Tampa. I think I had like 36 or less than 40 yards rushing. So they didn't do anything there. I expect that we're going to go in there and we're going to play a tough game, but we're going to get the dub. We do have some trouble in the secondary. We're a little banged up, but I fully expect that we're going to be able to come out and leave there with a win.
Yeah. Um, it's a tough matchup. This will be the first time that we get to see these two face off since the Super Bowl, where obviously as Chiefs fans, we're seeking some revenge here. They had the whole narrative last year in the media that because of Tampa Bay, they exposed the Chiefs. That's why the Chiefs are struggling because Tampa Bay has completely exposed. I don't know, guys. I think that Tampa Bay's defense looks really good. Their offense looks pretty bad. We look Chiefs look middle of the pack on both ends of the ball. Um, so it's really hard to tell. I think if we don't have any run game at all, we're going to struggle just like we did this last week because we won't be able to manage the clock and they're going to know what's coming. They've already shown that they have some of the best pass rushers in the game. I don't like last week. Mahomes was only sacked once and has still struggled, and we didn't run the ball. I think that Tampa's defense is way better. I think that they're probably going to get them a few sacks if we're trying to pass the whole night. Um, I don't know. It's really tough. I'd like to see Mahomes tie it up, make it a 3-3 count. Obviously, he can't make up for a Super Bowl win, but um, both of these teams the last 2 weeks have looked very, very off. You make a good point with Mike Evans coming back. I forget exactly what point in the game he was ejected 2 weeks ago, but I feel like both teams had a strong week one. Tampa Bay came out and made Dallas look bad. We came out and made Arizona look bad. And then both of them just kind of like hit this weird little wall in week two where offenses just really couldn't get it going. And to be honest, both teams got saved by the defense. Watson getting a pick six at the end of the game saved us. And Tampa Bay not allowing any more points saved them. And maybe Mike Evans hitting the hell out of Marshawn Lattimore maybe struck some fear. I don't know. But I've got Tampa Bay winning in my too early prediction. It's hard for me not to be biased and say that that's not going to happen. To be honest, I think that Knock is right. It is a trap game. I think that Mahomes really wants to win it because I feel like he's a legacy guy, much like a LeBron or a Tom or an Aaron. Like he wants to win that game, but our defense every time I can call it right now, in between the hashes, gets shredded by Tom Brady. He's going to shred us right up the gut every time. Leonard Fournette's going to be hitting us. And for whatever reason, our defense has always struggled against him. I think that he just kind of knows our scheme. Spagnuolo doesn't know how to handle it. I think Mahomes could do very well, but I see the Tampa Bay going about as I called it, man. I'm not looking forward to see Mahomes lose twice in a row. I think it's hard to tell. Neither team or quarterback likes to lose 2 weeks in a row. I don't know. I legit don't know. I have nothing else I can even say about it. So all I know is I'm very excited to watch it, and hopefully Mahomes, goes for about 405 tutties. But another game that I'm having trouble deciding who could win it. Buffalo and Baltimore. They play this week. Got two good teams. Both only one loss to Miami. Knock, I'll let you get started here, man. Who do you think's going to take that one?
Oh, wow. Well, Buffalo and Miami. I mean, I'm so excited. Excuse me, Buffalo. Wow, we're both doing this. Buffalo and Baltimore is going to be an exciting game. I mean, we have two of the most electric quarterbacks in the league going head to head. They both can beat you in the air or on the ground. I believe they're both leading their team in rushing and passing. I'm excited to see this game. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to come down to whatever defense can stifle the other quarterback, because these are the two most versatile quarterbacks in the league, hands down. I'm a huge Pat Mahomes fan. Pat Mahomes is that dude, but he doesn't have the same athleticism outside of the pocket that these two guys do. Let's just be clear. And so watching these two on the same field at the same time in their prime, this is going to be a joy to watch. This is one of those games that you want to keep on record. Like, this has a possibility to be one of the most fantastic shows we've ever seen. So I'm super excited about seeing these two together just because of the type of talent that they have. In addition to that, though, they both play on phenomenal teams that have excellent defenses, that have good running games, that are both poised to be in the playoffs. This could potentially be an AFC playoff matchup. So there's a lot riding on this. If there's a tiebreaker situation or anything like that down the road, this game could be a pivotal moment in the season. So I'm super excited to see these teams go head to head, and I can't wait to see what Lamar and Allen can both do.
I mean, both of you said it. These are two teams that are we're looking. They're going to be one of the last remaining in the AFC. Um, I don't know if it's going to be quite to this level, but do you guys remember the Chiefs and the Rams from a few years ago? I think that game ended 51-48. Not saying it's going to be a
Yeah.
shootout like that. Not saying it's going to be a shootout like that, but man, I certainly don't think it's going to be like what we just saw Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady do this past week. I think this is going to be an electrifying game, as Knox said. I really, you guys nailed it. I really don't see how there's going to be a better game this week. Both of these teams, like you guys said, it's going to come down to what the defense can do. Both can run, both can throw, both can get the job done. I am very excited. I think if I had to give the edge to somebody, I think it's going to be Buffalo. I think Josh Allen is pissed. I could tell at the end of that game against Miami, because I know Miami's down there laughing like we beat both of these dudes already. So like I know Josh Allen is hungry. I know he wanted to get a playoff before the clock ended against Miami, because they very well could have. If I should say, if they did get another playoff, I think they could have won the game. I think Josh Allen's pissed. I think he's going to use that for encouragement. I think he's going to go out there and I think he's going to throw for 450. I think he might have 5 touchdowns. I think Josh Allen is going to, yeah, y'all can look at me like that all you want. It's not going to be, this is no game. Josh Allen's going to come slinging that thing. He's going to be ready.
So you got the Bills then.
I got the Bills.
Woo!
I got the Bills, and I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Am I completely crazy for thinking that? I'm just saying. I think Josh Allen, he's going to have something to prove. He feels some type of way after losing to Miami, and I think he's going to want to come back and prove that.
I'm with you, Caleb. I had them 27-24 in my too early prediction, and I think it might be 37-34. I agree it could be fireworks, but I do still have the Bills by 3.
Wow, man, it's a tough one. Um, Bills should win this game. There's no reason that the Bills should not win this game. Um, my too early prediction, I've got it 41-35 Buffalo. So I already thought this was going to be a close game before the season even started. Both quarterbacks have come out and played, you know, equal to or better than they have in the past. At least they're both starting off really hot, a lot of passing, a lot of rushing yards. Uh, 41-35 Buffalo. I think that I'm gonna stick with it, man. I gotta stick with Buffalo this week. They're just they're a Super Bowl favorite. They look good, um, and it's just hard to go against them. The Ravens are kind of wishy washy, and I think that Buffalo just has a bit of a better defense. I think that they're going to be all over Lamar, but we'll see. We will see. Lamar, what did he have last week? He had like over 300 yards, 150 rushing yards, or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, he had over
I don't
300
know.
passing and 120 rushing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to depend on if Von Miller, can catch him, or if he's going to get put on skates. I don't know. But I'm going to stick with my pick of Buffalo, man. I think it's going to be a really great game. I just hope that it's not going to be one of those same situations like, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, where we're sitting here going, "Oh man, these guys are two of the best to ever do it," and then it might be 10-6 Buffalo. Who knows? So. Um, I'll stick with them. I will say though, I think I want Baltimore to win. I will say that I get tired of this is just a biased Chiefs fan opinion. I do get tired though of everyone hyping up the Bills. They hype up the Bills. Oh my God, they're the best team ever. They're the best team ever. They give them all this credit for like playing us well. The Chiefs. They play the Chiefs well, and they get like all this credit. They're the Super Bowl favorite. They should be a Super Bowl favorite because they are so good that they almost beat Mahomes every year. They are so good they almost do it.
Damn.
And I'm just like, okay, well then I guess Matt Ryan should be winning the Super Bowl because he's done it. He actually did it. Like he did it. All right, sorry, a little bit of Bills hate, but
You're gonna have the
you guys
whole
are my
Bills
Super Bowl
Mafia coming
pick.
after you.
Hey, you guys are my Super Bowl pick for this year. I'm sitting here saying all this, but I picked you guys to win it this year too. I think you guys are due up. I'd like to see it for you guys. I root for underdogs, and honestly, how bad we've beaten you guys. What 3 years in a row we've sent you home. You guys are like underdogs now. I'm rooting for you. Good. I hope you do it. I hope you can make it happen. Baltimore won a Super Bowl in the last 10 years, so I'm not too worried about them. And I think Lamar's going to definitely get one. So Buffalo is my underdog.
Boy.
Just saying.
My, my,
Um,
my.
Wow.
it is what it is. Speaking of other underdogs, moving on to the next topic, Jacksonville at Philly. Um, I I like this game. I think this is going to be a really good game, man. I think these are two teams that have surprised everybody this season. I wouldn't say that Jacksonville looks like the leading AFC team, but Philly damn for sure looks like the leading NFC team. Uh, I'll go ahead and throw this one at you first, Caleb. What do you think of this matchup?
And it's crazy. I was looking at what we all had. I have Philadelphia winning this one, 21-10. And I don't know about that anymore. That was the way too early prediction. I think Jacksonville's kind of. I think they have a point to prove too. I think they're a little ahead of schedule, per se, but they asserted themselves against the Chargers. Now that's on the other side of the coin because the Chargers are a little bit beat up. But for them to throw 38 points, man, they can be nasty on defense. They're only going to improve on offense. Trevor Lawrence there, I think he's going to be a stud. I think but they are going to run into a buzzsaw of what is Philadelphia and Jalen Hurts. Man, he has carried this team to 3-0. He can run. He can get it done in the air. I mean, I think this is. I did not have this game circled to make sure I am tuned into. This is going to be one of these games that I am tuned into. This is going to be a great game. I think Philadelphia might sweep this one out. I think they're going to be good. I know Jacksonville's defense might stop them a little bit. I think Jalen Hurts is going to struggle a little bit more. With Jacksonville's defense, I don't know. Only time will tell. But man, I am way more excited and up for this game than I ever thought I would be for a Jacksonville game. And Philly, I will give a shout out your mom's team, man. 3-0. Jalen Hurts is doing the damn thing, and I'm excited. I think this might be game of the week. I'm not saying that, but I'm very excited for this one because I think Philly's going to come out here. I think they're going to show us that they are still the real deal. And Jacksonville, I won't give them too much. I won't give them hell if they lose. Philly's a good team. I don't think Jacksonville's there quite yet. I think Philadelphia is the best team in the NFC. At least they're looking through it through 3 weeks. So I do think I'm going to give this nod to Philadelphia. What are you feeling about this matchup here?
This game is going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to look more like a playoff game. Both of these teams can establish themselves on the run um, early in the games. They also established themselves well in defense. The last couple of weeks, both of those teams' defense have looked like the best in the league. You see what Jacksonville has done the last couple of weeks. They shut the Colts out completely. And then last week, they dominated a team that we all know is a solid offense. So Jacksonville's defense is for real. They also can run the ball. I already kind of preached on this earlier. Well, Philadelphia is no different. Philadelphia has been running the ball, stopping the run. Jalen Hurts looks phenomenal. I think that we could be looking at a battle and obviously they're AFC and NFC, so they won't see each other a whole lot. But we have two of the best young quarterbacks in the league that not named Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, uh, Allen, that are going to be going head to head. These guys are part of the new age. They're both very athletic. They're both able to get outside the pocket and make things happen. They both have electric uh, offensive playbooks to go from. So this game's going to be a lot of fun. The defense is going to keep that score down, though, because both defenses are so good. I do see that the score is going to be a little bit lower. I have Philadelphia pulling it out because they are at home. And, of course, with Jacksonville, they have the young quarterback. I think he's going to have a little bit more of the highs and lows because he's still younger. So last week was a major high. He might go, again, out of conference, away game. Doesn't affect Jacksonville's seeding. I see them playing a tough game, but ultimately taking the loss to Philadelphia.
For sure. I mean, I think I'm just going to really be piggybacking off you guys on this one, man. I think that this is a game that none of us had circled prior to the season, right? I'm almost surprised that this is a game that we looked at and went like, wow, this is a really good matchup this week. None of us expected it. I think all of us have Philly winning this game when we thought Jacksonville was not going to be showing up this season. But while I'm not going to change my Philly pick, if Philly was 2-1, I'd be much more inclined to think that way, though, for sure. I think Jacksonville all of a sudden is starting to look more like a threat, like they did about 5-6 years ago when they went to the AFC Championship.
Yes,
I think they're looking looking decent, and I mean they have Trevor Lawrence, who is a proven winner. He's been on a rough team with a lot of coaching changes. And I think that that's what's going to end up being their downfall in this game. I think they've got a new coach, which I have to mention is pretty funny. It is Doug Peterson, who won the Super Bowl for Philadelphia. So not that really has much to do with like knowing scheme or anything, because, there's a new coaching staff in Philly, so it could be a lot different. I do think it is a revenge game that Peterson might have circled on his own calendar, going up against his old team that is right now undefeated with this new quarterback. And, I think he really wants to win this game. I don't know if I could say the same for some of those young guys like, Eaton is what we're going to start calling him, and James Robinson, Trevor Lawrence and stuff. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. Philly's going to pull it out, though. I think they've got some more veterans on the team. They got a good defense, and they actually have a run game that stays pretty consistent. But I also want to mention something I thought was really funny about a stat I saw in Jacksonville this week is Doug Peterson now with 2 wins for the Jags. He is now tied for 5th all time in wins for Jaguars head coaches. Think about that. 5th all time. He's won 2 games.
That's horrible.
That's terrible.
They are.
I mean, he's tied with a million people.
Yeah, they're a relatively young franchise. They haven't had a lot of coaches, and they have had high turnover at that position the last few years. So that's why the stats look that way. Hopefully, Peterson can come in, have some longevity there. This is the best quarterback he's ever coached in the big leagues. So I'm not surprised that they're having the success they are.
Okay, so Trevor Lawrence is definitely mad talented, and this could all be coming from a place of bias, but that man coached Big Dick Nick, dude. I said this last week. Big Dick Nick, man, you can't forget about that guy. Big Dick
he's the
Nick
reason they beat the Chiefs. I'm convinced. Starting
just
job.
Being on this. Just being, he doesn't want it. He's like Alex Moran. If anyone here's a Blue Mountain State fan, the dude knows that he has the best job in the NFL. He's the backup quarterback. He doesn't get hit at practice. He doesn't get hit in games, and he still makes millions on the sideline with his presence. He won against the Chiefs last week for the Colts. Like that man.
Yeah, Nick Foles nor Carson Wentz have the talent base nor the pedigree and the winningness in college that we see with the current Jacksonville quarterback. That's all I'm saying. That young man is a baller. He's going to be a future superstar, and neither of those quarterbacks have what Lawrence has there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, like in all seriousness, obviously, Big Dick Nick doesn't play for Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence is obviously a younger
cup
talent,
size.
a better
I don't
talent.
know. I don't know about the cup size.
He's already starting he's already starting for a franchise and has been now, what is his second or third season. So obviously there are a different level of talent. All I'm saying though is, he still is young and he still plays for the Jaguars with a new coach. I just don't see him pulling out the win in Philly, but it's hard to tell when they come out there and they 38-10 the Chargers. Like, this season has been one of the weirdest first 3 weeks I've seen in a long time. I honestly think the only team that has looked consistent, or one of the only teams that has looked consistent throughout, is Philly.
Philly.
And not just because they're 3-0, but they just
they showed up every week.
I've actually watched their games. Yeah, like they just look like they're ready to play. They're gritty. They don't look like they're getting frustrated or giving up or anything. They look a lot like Miami right now.
Really quick, honorable
mention. A little
mention.
less flash.
Honorable mention, really quick. We have to throw a shout out to that dude with the stash, Gardner Minshew, who's sitting on the bench in Philly right now, who was the previous starting quarterback in Jacksonville, and who looks damn good, right? He's one of the top backup passers in the league, and now he's sitting patiently on the bench. Wouldn't it be cool to see him get some snaps, hopefully because Philly's just blowing them out, not because of any type of injury situation, but wouldn't it be cool to see him get one back on him? I mean, we're bringing up Nick and Carson Wentz. We got to throw a little shout out to the stash, Gardner Minshew.
Hey, man, I liked Minshew, man. I'm surprised. I mean, obviously they got Trevor Lawrence. That's why they don't have him anymore. But I did like him in Jacksonville, man. He had a hot start. My other favorite, number 15 of the league. But no, man, I think the Jacksonville-Philly game is going to be really good. Never in my life thought that I was going to be excited to watch such a game, but I am. Here I am. It's like my third most important game of the week behind the other two we talked about with Kansas City, Tampa, and Buffalo, Baltimore. But it's going to be a really interesting week, guys. I am super excited. As always, I can just feel it. I am chipping away at Knox' lead. If I have another week like last week, I'll be right there with you starting next week, man. I think I'm just looking at some of our score predictions for next week and how it aligns with what is actually happening. I think I might have a pretty good week, guys. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good. So I hope you guys feel just as good and are ready for it next week. I will say, I don't know what the Colts are going to do. I'm not going to bet on that game this week, though. I'll tell you that. Tennessee, Indy is the other honorable mention because Jacksonville right now is in the lead in their division by one game. So it's a kind of a must-win in Philly if they want to keep that lead because Tennessee and Indy play this week. So just something to think about. But anyways, we are way over on time once again today, but I really appreciate you guys showing up. I appreciate everybody who's here listening. We appreciate you guys chiming in. Definitely jump in the comments. Let us know what your guys' opinions are on these topics. And if there's any other topics you guys want us to talk about, just throw it in the comments. Let us know. I'm very responsive on Instagram, and these guys jump on there every once in a while too. I'll also be posting all of my sportsbook promo links below. If you've never signed up for any of those sportsbooks, you can jump on there. You'll get some free bets and other promotional things from my links that'll help you kind of get started, get you some free money to get started on your betting. But other than that, man, appreciate you guys all jumping on, and we will see you next week.
Yes, sir. Take care.